Good day, friends. Wish you all a very happy new year. In today's session, we are going to discuss the best practices, mainly the Ayurveda best practices for proper digestion. As we all know, diet plays a very big role in Ayurveda. So eating the right food is very, very important for healthy lifestyle. So there are two things to consuming consuming the right food in Ayurveda. One thing is, consuming a healthy food, and the other one very, very equally, very, very important, and as important as consuming the right food is the digesting the food that we consume properly is as important as consuming the right food. If we fail to digest properly, whatever the semi-digested food that is not eliminated as waste or that's not converted to nutrient will stay inside the body and will become toxins, what we call ama in Ayurveda or in Sanskrit term. Okay, so the most important thing is proper digestion. So let's learn a few best practices on how to properly digest the right food that we are consuming. Okay, so before we go into the actual meal part, so the two tips that I'm going to give are regarding like what should be the main meal and what's the right quantity. First thing we need to know is there are 3 meals in a day, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Of all the 3 meals, lunch should be the main meal. What do we mean by that? Lunch should be the meal where you are taking heavier food compared to breakfast and dinner. So the same quantity, even if you are taking, breakfast and dinner should be lighter and easier to digest. Lunch should be your main meal, where you are having that high calorie diet, etc. So the question now is why? Why lunch is the main meal and why not breakfast or dinner? Why breakfast and dinner should be lighter? The reason is we know that the sun rises and then sun goes to the peak and then sun sets, like a concave function, right? When the sun is at its peak, that's when it is very hot. We feel it, the heat. And when sun rises or sun sets, it's not that hot. Body is very smart. It follows the sun. It knows that when the sun is at its peak, the body's fire, digestive fire, is also at its peak. So that means when the digestive fire is at its peak, that's when we should be able to consume heavy food. When the digestive fire is low, that happens when the outside sun is low, usually in healthy conditions. We cannot really consume heavy food and hope to digest it. So this is the reason why we say lunch is the main meal and have easier to digest meals for breakfast and dinner. Okay, that's one important thing, because these days many people are almost skipping lunch sometimes and then just directly going for dinner and having heavy dinner, which is wrong, because your digestive fire is not high during dinner, because sun is not at its peak during dinner time. Sun is at its peak during lunchtime. That's when your food should be the main meal. Now, what is the right quantity, right? The beauty of Ayurveda is it recognizes that body has the right tools. You don't need outside measuring cups, or you don't need to buy heart how many calories you have to consume, how much food you have to have, and all that. It comes with each body is different. So each body's needs are different. So accordingly, body comes with these measuring cups. So we have what we call Anjali. Anjali means when you bring these two palms together and put it in a cup type of a position like this, that's called Anjali. So the right quantity for anyone, whether it is a child or adult or an adult, the right quantity for a meal, given meal, is 1 Anjali solid, 1 Anjali liquid, and 1 Anjali air. 1 Anjali solid means it's like rice and sabjis, curries, or bread and some cooked vegetables or meat, etc. And then liquid means like soups and dals and rasams, etc. And air means what? You can consume solid and liquid. How can you consume air, right? What do we mean by air is you keep 1/3 of your stomach free. In the sense, when you are consuming, do not consume till you're full. So that's the idea. So you fill your stomach only till 2/3. why? The reason why we are suggesting not to eat till you're full is because the body has to process the food that you're consuming. So it first goes through the, the acids and enzymes and whatever they are needed for digestion. They first do a mechanical breakdown and then do a chemical processing and then separate nutrients and weights. And that is what the digestive action is about. So for them to process the food, they need space in the stomach. It's like trying to cook in a vessel with full of food, right? Then you cannot cook. It comes out. In a vessel, it comes out, but in the stomach, it cannot come out. So the body expands the stomach. That's when we put on belly fat. So that's the reason why you should have, and also you should have enough space for this. That's the reason why we should have this space for proper digestion to occur, right? And by the way, if you are consuming meat, consume during lunch and do not consume meat during breakfast or dinner, for the same reason that if there is the digestive fire is not enough, then it's not easy to digest meat during breakfast or dinner. Lunch, because the outside sun is at peak, your digestive fire is at its peak, then you should be able to digest it properly. So these are the two tips. Lunch should be your main meal. Any heavy meal you are taking, it should be lunch. And whatever may be the type of the meal that you are taking, the quantity is 1 Anjali solid, 1 Anjali liquid, and 1 Anjali air, right? Now, the next question is the meal point process itself, consuming the meal. Before the meal, what should we do? During the meal, what should we do? And after the meal, what should we do to aid in digestion? Before the meal, we suggest that you keep everything what you're going to have in one plate or, couple of bowls and dishes ready on the table or on, if you're sitting on the floor, right next to you. The reason is, once you start the meal, consuming the meal, you should not get up. You should not keep on getting up and bringing the food to your table and start eating. Once you sit for meal, the body is preparing all the aids. There are 5 types of aid in the body that are needed for each physiological function, and for digestion also they are needed. They're all ready, and then enzymes and acids and everything is ready, and you are ready mentally, and you start consuming. You are going to disturb the process. That's when, the chances of acid reflexes and acidity, burning sensation, everything goes up. And also the proper digestion will not happen. It gets disturbed later, right? Because you're eating and then you're stopping, you're eating, you're going, you're picking up, movement is there. And then that movement is not good. That movement disturbs the whole consumption and digestion process. So always eat in one go, do not get up, right? So always prepare your food ahead of time. Keep that food in the quantities that you need as per the Anjali discussion that we have directly in front of you. So you're not getting up for each item, and then you consume in one go. Now the question becomes, what is the right position to sit while eating, right? The right position, it is a cross-leg position on the floor. In India, what they do is they usually have like a mat. They sit on the floor, and then they have like an elevated small table, a 4-leg table, like 3-4 inches elevation, and on the top of it they put this plate full of a meal, which we call thali, and they eat there. If you cannot sit in a cross-leg position like that, you at least sit, do not stand and eat. Okay, sit. When you sit, especially in a cross-leg position, the position is really good, because that's when all the bodily acids, enzymes, and gases and everything is in the right position, and you are not moving. They are now concentrating in the stomach. And when you sit in an erected position like that, with your legs not moving in a cross leg, whatever you are consuming, it's directly going down in a proper way to your stomach, and there's no movement down from the thighs down. So it doesn't get disturbed, right? So that's the reason why you sit. When you sit, that's when you are ready to properly, it's like properly cooking, right? That's like that. It's like, how chefs tell you that, this is the way, all the stove should be here, the grill should be here, and it should be in this position, etc. It's like that. Once you sit in that position, it's all proper and ready to go. So cross-leg position is good. if not possible, at least sit at the dining table. Do not stand. Okay, that's important. And now, how to prepare this thali, and if there is any best practice. As there is a best practice, the best way to prepare this full meal is you should always have 6 tastes in any meal. 6 tastes means sweet, sour, salty, spicy, or pungent, bitter, and astringent. So for 6 days doesn't mean that you need 6 items. Even with 2 items, you can always have 6 days. It's just that 6 days should be there, because the digestion goes through the 6 stages. Okay, the sweet stage, sour stage, salty stage, spicy, then bitter or pungent stage, and finally astringent stage, where the stool is formed. So always eat in that order, and always prepare your meal in that order. So if you notice, when people prepare thali, they always start with sweet and with astringent. Astringent is something like yogurt or buttermilk, the watered thin chas or buttermilk or whatever we call it, that one. That is always at the end, because that helps with the final stage of digestion. So that is the order in which digestion happens, and that is the order in which you should eat, right? So that's why you are now prepared your thali, you are sitting in a cross-legged position, or at least at the dining table, and you are ready to go. As soon as you sit, you should not suddenly start eating, because that's like a jerk even after, right? You have to calm down. You have to start your mindful eating. You have to focus. For that mindful eating, what we do in Ayurveda is we recite what we call Vayu mantra. Vayu means air, and there are 5 types of air as per Ayurveda: prana, samana, vyana, udana, and apana. Because these are the 5 vayus that help in any physiological function, right? Like prana vayu means what you breathe in, udana vayu is what you breathe out, samana vayu is what circulates around stomach, vyana vayu is throughout the circulation system, and then apana vayu is what comes out of the body, right? So you don't need to know all this theory, what does what and all that. Just remember that we are bringing all those vayus in their position mindfully by reciting Vayu mantra. We are just in Vayu mantra, we recite the names of these 5 vayus, and then we pray to it. If you don't know that, or if you cannot recite it, no issues. What you do is you look at your plate, what you have kept, and then you absorb the food first, not through mouth, but through all the other 4 senses. Look at it, you hear it, you smell it, you touch it. That itself puts you into that mindful attention, focus, 100% attention you should give it to your food. Then only you can digest. That's the important thing. This is what you should prepare. It doesn't take much time. It doesn't even take how much I explained. You just prepare your thali, you sit in cross-legged position, you calm down for a few seconds, then you recite Vayu mantra, or you are while doing it or whatever, you should always look at it and absorb it with all 4 senses before you put on your tongue. Then during meal, what should you and should you not do? As we already discussed, you should not get up during the meal. Suppose you put that plate, and in between you needed something more, you can always have somebody serving you. This is the reason why in India you will see few people eating and then one person serving, even at home, and they eat later on, right? This is the reason, because you should not get up, those who is eating. A few tips for servers, whoever is serving the food: do not overfeed, which we have already discussed, the problems with overfeeding. And I've observed there's some bad habits of some people, that they keep on adding food to the people while eating. The servers keep on adding, and they keep on dumping food onto their. They don't even ask. They're not even they won't even ask the person who is eating whether they need more. They just keep dumping those chapatis, rice, whatever comes to their hands. Oh, your plate is emptying, and dump. Don't do that. Wait for their signal to ask you, or if you think they need one more chapati or something, put it in a separate plate next to them, so that they are not, if they are done, they know their stomach, they know better than you do. So they will stop it. If they think they need more, they will take it only that much amount. So they're not wasting food. Do not waste food. So do not overcook. Do not eat. Okay, if there is food left over, let it be left over. Your stomach is not a garbage bin that in your zeal to complete everything that is cooked, you're overeating. Do not do that. It's better to leave it aside and give it to someone, or do something else with that, or change, use it for farming or something, but do not overeat. Your stomach is not a garbage bin. Okay, do not prove yourself that you never waste food. That's not the way to not waste food. The best way to not waste food is to cook less. Okay, cook less. That's more important. Do not overcook and then try to consume that. Do not do that. And same thing goes to servers. Do not overfeed people just because you cooked. Don't waste that. Wait till they tell you. This is very important. That's why I'm repeating it so many times. Okay, so that's servers tips, and then those who are eating. And this is another important thing, that this is like new age phenomenon. The last 20 years or so, this has taken over, that people are consuming food while watching TV, or people are consuming food while watching YouTube, or people make it like a huge family conversational time. Don't do that. Honestly, meal is not a conversation time at all. Meal, everybody should eat with full 100% focus and attention, not talk while eating. Okay, because once you talk, whatever may be the topic, those emotions are also absorbing along with the food, and that should not happen. That should be separate, because body needs energy to absorb and digest. Body has to digest emotions also, otherwise even they become toxins. Undigested emotions, semi-digested emotions also become toxins, and your health gets ruined. Even if you have cooked right food, even if you are eating the right way, if you are talking and discussing things, whether good or bad, you do not we should not decide whether it's good or bad. You don't know whether, so it doesn't matter. So in temples, you will notice that people do not talk when they are eating, and that was the case when I was growing up. It's not that somebody told us like it's a rule. We observe our elders and we realize that we should not talk while there were no punishments or anything in our family. It's just that our elders were not talking, they were focusing, and we were also focusing. That's it. That's how we teach best practices to the next generation. This is the reason, because if you talk, those emotions are also you're consuming, and then sometimes the food gets stuck in your body, but that's not the main reason. The main reason is emotions you are also consuming, and then that gets disturbed with the food digestion process. So do not talk or do not watch anything while eating, with 100% attention and focus. See that as something that either God or the universe or your farmers or your trees or whatever you want to call it has provided you for that day. Be thankful for that, focus and finish it off. It will be quick also when you're finishing off without talking and watching. But more important thing, whether it is quick or not, do not talk or watch anything to avoid digesting emotions along with food. And then what do you do after the meal? After the meal, we usually say with our folded hands, we say that Anna Dhata Sukhi Bhava. What do we mean? Anna means food. Data means somebody who has provided, provided that. Sukhi Bhava means may you be happy. So we are saying whoever provided this food, you may please be happy. We are actually giving blessing, because we don't know who cooked. Even if somebody claims that they cooked, they might have not cooked. In their mind, they may have cooked, just by touching, adding some salt or something. And other thing, most important thing is, we don't know who was the farmer. We don't know what was what was the insect that contributed to the soil strength. What are all the farm animals that have contributed? And so by saying Annadata Sukhi Bhava, we are blessing everything and everyone who has who played a role in bringing that food to our table. And we should not pass negative or positive comments. Only this, because once you pass positive comments also, then it is some other day, some other time, somewhere else, you will pass negative comments, because positive and negative comments are two sides of the same coin. You are judging the food, and do not judge the food. It doesn't matter if it has less salt or more salt or anything. We take it as with prasada buddhi. What do we mean by prasada buddhi? Means prasada means something that is provided to us by that super consciousness or the higher power. Well, it is, we should not be deciding it's good or bad. It's we should, once we take it with that assumption, with that thought process, anything gets digested, even poison gets digested properly. That buddhi is important. Once you start making positive or negative comments, then you are judging the food, you are judging the chef, you are judging the insect, you are judging the soil, you are judging the farm animal, you are judging the shopkeeper, distributor, everyone. Do not do that. You have absolutely no idea who cooked, who provided, who contributed to this food. So just simply say Annadata Sukhi Bhava. Okay, if you cannot say that, say it in English. May whoever provided this food, please be happy. So these blessings will definitely go to the right person, right animal, right soil, right system, process, everything. When you make it generalized like this, it will definitely go, your blessings will not go waste. After that, you need to go for a short walk for 15 to 20 minutes. This is important, because if you continue to sit and not move, then the digestion also does not happen. The agni gets dampened, the digestive fire. So it's important that you walk, you keep that digestion activity going, and do not jog or do not exercise or do not do physical yoga or anything of that sort. Just simple short walk through whatever, wherever, unpolluted areas, if you can find. That is important. That's all there is. I hope you found this video useful, and thank you for watching my video. Please like and share this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.